Well, hey, friends, last week's show, we started all the way back at the beginning with that wonderful fried chicken. Well, on this week's show, we're going to continue with some of those wonderful recipes. Now, I hadn't told y'all the next thing that I plan to cook. I mean, I'm walking strong down memory lane today because I'm going to make the macaroni and cheese like we serve at the Lady and Sons, y'all.
We prepare the food that we know. And what we know and grew up with was chicken, biscuits, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, sweet tea, peach cobbler. It's my mama's food. It's my grandmama's food. It's recipes that were passed down over generations.
The very first tip that I give you is probably the most important when it comes to making good macaroni and cheese. You must make sure your macaroni noodles are cooked soft. You have to overcook it and cook it completely done. And you'll see I'm stirring this. The next important step is to get all the water out of your shells, out of your noodles, because you don't want your sauce watery. Now, I love to mix my macaroni and cheese up while my noodles are hot because that helps give the cheese a little head start on melting. So the first thing I'm gonna do is add some cheese. Calls for 2 cups of cheese, y'all. You can see I got a little bit more than 2 cups.
In fact, when we first started our business, there were no recipes. They were all in my mom's head. So when she wrote the Lady and Son Savannah Country Cookbook, I remember this. My mom was preparing these dishes and actually writing out the recipes as she would go on index cards. That whole cookbook was put together on index cards.
I made macaroni and cheese the last holiday, I think was Easter, and I made macaroni and cheese, and I probably put 3 different kinds of cheese in that.
You could use all kinds of different cheeses if you wanted to. In fact, I've made macaroni and cheese where I used maybe 6 or 8 different cheeses in it.
Now, I like to do chunks of cheese in my macaroni and cheese dish. It'll be a nice, surprising chunk. Now, my little Bobby likes a little cream cheese in his.
So it's one of those things that you can do whatever you'd like to with it, but it should be satisfying.
See that cheese starting to melt and stick to my spoon? All right, now I'm gonna put a couple of tablespoons of butter. Okay, 3. We'll do 3.
I don't ever recall my mom fixing a box of macaroni and cheese when I was growing up.
Now, my liquid for my macaroni and cheese is an evaporated milk. So I'm gonna put about that much sour cream. And that's really the secret ingredient.
Sour cream makes it creamy, and eggs bake it up like a souffle.
All right, so in goes the eggs. And that's the last thing I put in because my ingredients have had an opportunity to cool down. You don't want to put raw eggs into hot macaroni noodles because it'll curdle. It'll actually cook the eggs, and you don't want that to happen. All right, now I'm looking at this, y'all, and I'm fixing to make a judgment call. I almost think I want a little bit more milk in there. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of regular whole milk to it. And if I get too much milk in it, I can always let it cook a little longer. There, somehow that just makes me feel a little bit better. I think I'll cook it in this pan. It's very important when you're making macaroni and cheese that you spray whatever kind of dish you're using because it will stick. So here we go. And I'm probably gonna bake this like at 350 for probably 45 minutes. How beautiful is that?
They call it comfort food for a reason. And what's more comfortable than gooey cheese and pasta and sour cream?
So in the oven this goes.
As far as the recipe goes, that's different from a lot of other people's recipes. But maybe there's a lot of people that ate boxed mac and cheese. And when they get our mac and cheese,
Now when it's almost done, y'all, I like to take it out and give it a stir.
Macaroni and cheese is supposed to be decadent and delicious and creamy and cheesy and...
Oh my goodness. Look at that.
It's supposed to be great. It's so good. Maybe you can't put your finger on exactly what it is, but boy, is it good.
So that's perfect. About 10 more minutes, and I'll top it with more cheese and give it that beautiful cheesy top. And then we'll dive into it and see what we got. All right, now I've told y'all a few minutes ago I stir my macaroni and cheese when it's about halfway through. That just gives me an idea if I've got enough liquid, got too much, then that'll kind of gear me as to how long I'm gonna cook it. And I stirred it, y'all, and it looked like perfect. So I'm gonna put a nice light little coat of cheese on top and let that melt. Yummy. That really looks pretty good, doesn't it? All right, I had turned my oven back off, so I'm gonna turn that back on so that can melt. And while I'm waiting for that to melt, I'm gonna make us a quick little salad.
So let me tell you about cucumber salad. This is a really great, fresh, like right out of the garden thing that you can whip up and put together in just a couple of minutes and put it out on the counter or on the table, and it'll kind of satisfy everybody until the meal gets ready. And it's almost impossible to mess it up.
The South has always been farm to table, and it seems so strange to me now that all the rage is from farm to table. Well, all my life, it's always been a rage, because that's what we had. I was fortunate enough to live in a part of the country where so many of our vegetables are grown and produced. So I was a lucky girl. And I just ran out to my garden and got some of my fresh dill that I've got growing.
I can't say that this is my mama's cucumber salad, though. It's my Aunt Peggy's cucumber salad.
I know to this day my Aunt Peggy doesn't serve a meal that she doesn't have this cucumber salad.
My mama stole this from my Aunt Peggy.
And you can add tomatoes to it, bell pepper, you know, anything that you like. So a little sugar, a little white vinegar. You can use any kind of vinegar you want.
it's a simple, delicious Southern salad that every time I see it, I think about my great Aunt Peggy.
And this will be so good alongside those biscuits and black-eyed peas and fried chicken. And like I said, I try not to make any more than we'll eat at one sitting. Now, the cheese should be melted on our mac and cheese, so let's go check on that. How beautiful is that? How simple and how so very Southern. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Can't wait for y'all to see this. Look at that. Oh, this thing is so heavy. You know, that's the only thing about cast iron, I think, y'all. As we start getting some age on us, that cast iron starts to get awfully, awfully heavy. What a perfect little tart bite of salad. All right, so would y'all like for me to teach you how to sneak a bite and nobody know that you've been in the dish? I promise it's gonna look totally undisturbed. See, you just kind of go to that edge and go to the bottom and look at there. Then you kind of go like that and nobody's the wiser. Ooh. This is piping hot. I mean, I just took it out of the oven. I've got so much cheese in that stuff. It is so, so good. I don't care if I'm in California or I'm in New York. Somebody is going to come up to me and say, Paula, we just love Nacho Mama's banana pudding. So if you don't have this recipe, I'm so happy to share it with you. Like I said, it's the best no-cook that I have ever tasted. And I'm going to start out by using a bowl that's been in the freezer. I've gotten it nice and cold, and I'm going to pour 2 cups of whipping cream into my nice cold bowl. And you can also throw your beaters in the freezer and get them nice and cold, and it will assure you a better whip on your cream. Now, I'm going to sweeten our whipped cream with powdered sugar. I use 1/4 cup of sugar for each cup of whipping cream, and that makes it nice and sweet.
Well, my mama's banana pudding is really, really good. And a lot of people do love my mama's banana pudding. I like her peach cobbler. I mean, but hey, that's just me.
This is perfectly whipped cream, y'all. You can run your finger through it, and the little indention that you made stays. So good, so fresh. All right, now I have let my cream cheese get to room temperature. Now I'm gonna beat it just a couple of seconds, just so it'll be easy to incorporate. People tell me that they take it to family reunions and they never get to bring a bite home. Step in here and get me a little spatula, because now I'm going to add 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. And this stuff by itself is just marvelous. It's delicious. All right. So we'll incorporate those 2 ingredients. Now I'm going to add 1 5.5-ounce box of instant pudding mix. And I'm going to slowly add in our 2 cups of regular milk. See how simple? So all I'm going to do now is fold it together with our fresh whipped cream. All right, so I'm just going to mix that together. Ooh, look. Look how beautiful that is. All right. Now, we're not going to use the little wafers that you ordinarily think of using. I'm using a chessman cookie. And I'm going to start by putting a row on the bottom. And I'm going to put some custard on top of that. And that first row of chessmen cookies will make kind of like a little crust for us. And I'm just going to keep layering this until we run out of all the ingredients. Now, if you don't put this together quickly, you know, if you've sliced your bananas and done everything ahead of time, I would highly recommend that you toss them in a little lemon juice, and that'll keep them from turning dark on you. Because if I had been on my game, I would have already sliced these bananas and had them all ready. And in that case, you definitely want to use the lemon juice. Because this and apples are the two fruits that will turn brown on you rather quickly. And, you know, different people have different preferences, so by all means, do it the way you like it. A lot of people like a lot of custard. A lot of people like a lot of cookies. So, you know, suit yourself with that. All right, now I'm going to come in here and put another layer of the chessmen down. Okay, here we go. Another layer of the custard. That custard looks like kind of semi-melted ice cream, doesn't it? Just looks heavenly. All right, now another layer of bananas. And on our banana pudding at the restaurant, we frost it with sweetened whipped cream. But this is not going to be that way, although you could certainly do that. But when I finish, if my ingredients work out right, it'll just be topped with the chessmen cookies. Okie doke. Here we go. The last layer of the custard. This looks like I'm making it for a big old crowd. It looks like it'll feed a crowd, but I promise you we'll eat all this. Won't we, bud? Say, I'm waiting, Mama. I'm waiting. I can get up a crowd around here, I'll tell you. That's never a problem. So your chessmen is the final look. Darn, I could have eaten 3.
And I'm not kidding you. The people that have told me that they have to bring that to family gatherings, I promise you, in the last month, somebody mentioned that to me. Oh, every time I go, I have to bring your mama's pudding, the one with the cookies on the top. And as enthusiastic as they are about it, I'm a little, it's not really my thing. I'd rather eat pork chops, thank you.
Made in Georgia.